Good morning. It is Monday, August 24th, and I'm Jason Stanton. I serve First Lutheran in Onalaska, Wisconsin as their senior pastor, and my musing today is it's political, and it's wrapped up in the idea that the church needs to learn how to think about and talk about politics. I'm not saying I have answers for exactly how to do that, but I do know that doing it is going to help us learn how to do it. Like, you learn by doing sometimes. And I've just been, as I watched quite a bit of the Democratic National Convention last week, as the Republican National Convention is this week, we're getting deep into the political cycle now as we head toward November, which I know we want that to feel like it's far, far away, because with November comes winter, but it's coming, right? The election is really on at this point, and so many of us who maybe haven't been paying attention are now. Boy, do I have a lot of signs in my neighborhood, right, for both sides, and so as we enter into this election time, and as our state is such an important state in this federal election, and we have important decisions to make locally and in the state as well, I just think the church should be saying something about what it means to vote as a person of faith. Why I have questions like why doesn't faith inform the way we vote at least as much, if not more, than whether the person has a D or an R behind their name? That's a question. I have some other questions too I'm going to bring up, but I feel like the church needs to learn to talk about politics and to think about the place of character in elections. And I know it's hard to really know the character of people as they run for office, and that's one of the challenges is, where do you get information that you can trust that tells you about whether this person is a person of character or not. And so that is but it makes me think of this character. What place does character have in politics? It makes me think of an episode, a part of the musical Hamilton. And if you're familiar, that's great. If you're not, I strongly encourage you to listen to it or watch it. And at one point in the musical, Hamilton has removed himself from politics because he's had an affair, and it's a whole other story. But anyway, he's still a respected leader among the founders of the nation. And so it's the election between Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr, and it's a very close election. And people are looking to Hamilton to see who's he endorsing, because that'll matter. A lot of people respect his opinion, political opinion, and it's assumed by many that Aaron Burr, because Aaron Burr is saying a lot of the things that Hamilton probably would have said, people are kind of assuming you're probably leaning toward him, right? Because they also knew that when Hamilton was in the government serving under George Washington's administration, that Hamilton and Jefferson were always at odds, pretty much ideological opposites. And most assume then, so you're not going to take Jefferson's side, and yet he did. Hamilton did endorse Jefferson in that election, not Burr. And the reason that Hamilton gave was Aaron Burr was just trying to get power. He wasn't trying to be a servant to the nation. He didn't have an ideology he was trying to press. He just wanted to be president. And he knew that Jefferson, although he disagreed with almost everything Jefferson was about, he knew Jefferson was coming from a place of integrity, for the most part, a place of character, where he was trying to further the nation's ability to be a place of peace and prosperity for all. And so that's an example, I guess, that Hamilton wasn't just about a party affiliation, or even about, do I agree with the person or not necessarily. He made that choice based on character. I wonder if many of us could be as courageous to recognize that maybe I don't agree on many of the policies or such about from this person, but boy. And the other challenge with the character question, as I think about politics of all levels, is how cynical we've all become, that aren't they all crooked? You know, that none of our leaders that seek to be elected are worth respecting, because they all cheat and steal, and they're all out for themselves and their own friends. That level of cynicism, I'm just not willing to have it. And I know in some elections it really is. I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to character. Anyway, the other question I have when I think about character in politics is why is the economy always the thing that we make our decisions based on? And not all of us do that, but the economy is always like the number one thing. And I feel like there's so many other issues that are character driven, where people could care about our climate, the education of all our kids, the health care of all our people, the ways that everyone either does or does not have opportunity. Like, what if we gave those things as much attention as we give whether or not our taxes are going to go up, or whether or not our GDP is growing at a certain level? I know it matters, the wealth of our nation, but it just seems like so does a lot of other stuff. And I feel like that's related to the character of our leaders as well. Like, yeah, of course we want everybody to be thriving and as wealthy as possible, so that people can be as generous as possible. But there are other issues as well. So I think over the next few months, I think Pastor Karen and I will be dipping our toes in the water of these political musings, not because we're trying to direct anybody how to vote, but, you know, as good Lutherans do, to just ask good questions in our way of seeking the best answers.